Now what we're going to do is we're going to get to the tactics board and have a look at some of the players that you need within your squad to be able to play the 4-3-3 formation yourself, but also just to have a look at some of the key movements later on the pitch as well. So if we take a look at the tactics board now, I suppose one of the key areas to start with at the beginning here, Lee, is the back four. Now, essentially, it's just like your normal back four, isn't it? There's no difference here in terms of what you would expect your back four to be playing. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at two full-backs who are quick across the ground, have good tackling abilities, and can read the game pretty well in terms of what's happening down the flanks of the pitch. You've got two centre-halves who should be good in the air, quick across the ground, and be able to cope with any aerial balls that are getting thrown into that area. But I suppose the one key thing, they must have good passing technical ability and distribution, shouldn't they, Lee?
Definitely, yeah, because obviously what we're looking for them to do is either play 15-20 yard passes to these players when they're under pressure, or if we're going a little bit more direct, they could be hitting anything from 30, 40, 50 yard balls into forwards. And then obviously the quality of their pass, if it's a lofted pass or a driven pass, dictates the movement of the three midfielders.
Yeah. Now the other thing as well with our back four is that we'll come on to this a little bit later on in terms of our midfield three, but how high they play up the pitch and how in tune they are with the midfield three will either help or destroy our midfield three, won't it?
It will definitely, because we talked before about the midfield three's role defensively and when we're attacking. Obviously they've got a lot of ground to cover, so they need to be three very mobile players. Yeah. But as you said, it's dictated by their position on the pitch, whether they do 40 or 50 yard runs or whether they do 20 or 30 yard runs. Okay, so let's just have a look at those midfield three, and how typically would you set up a three in the middle there? Yeah, there's a number of ways you can set it up. Obviously, if you play flat, then you're not going to get much out of your midfield three. So normally what I tend to do in my teams if I'm playing this system is I normally have one holding midfielder, and I like to have these two who are more attack-minded. Okay. I find that if I've got this player here, he's my insurance policy. If everything breaks down, we've still got 5 players plus your keeper behind the ball, and obviously he's going to be your ball winner, and hopefully try and get on the ball in these areas to go and play passes into your other midfielders and into your forwards as well. Okay, and if they're playing with a guy up front who likes receiving the ball in the air, if we win it, hopefully they're going to pick up the scraps and win that second ball as well in that area. Right. Any long ball into the centre forward, if it's a particularly bad touch, then he's going to be closing down from the front, and we're going to be winning balls in these areas here. Okay. So he is key there. So that's if you're playing with one screen in there, Lee. Yeah. Is there any opportunities when you might play with like 2 screen? Yeah, there are obviously some different scenarios in the game. It may be a game where you need to draw. Yeah. So what you might tend to do is have your back 4 in, and then what you might do is have 2 holding midfielders, and then just play with one as a focal point in midfield, who's going to be your main support of the 3 up front. Right. But that is very defensive then. Yeah. Obviously, if the ball breaks down, instead of having 6 now, you've got 7 behind the ball with your goalkeeper. But as I say, most formations that you'll see, and obviously in the junior leagues as well, you might see just one defensive midfielder, if you like, and then 2 focal. Now, if you have a look at that, just in terms of just moving those couple of players around, 2 or 1 in defence, if you have a look now at that situation, just look how many passing triangles that we have on the pitch. And this is one thing that I like to get across to my junior and youth players, is that always try and make sure that there's plenty of passing triangles around the pitch, because when you do that, then you've got plenty of outlets for the ball, whether the player's under pressure and they can get hold of the ball, shield it, turn and then lay it off to somebody else, then create some space for themselves and move.